Hi, my name is Waihiga and welcome to the Mental Wellness Channel, Higgs, aka Waihiga. I am a recovering alcoholic and welcome. Today I want to talk about alcoholism as a progressive disease. Now, when I first got sober, I always used to hear people say that alcoholism is a progressive disease. I listened to a lot of speaker tapes, AA speaker tapes that you can find on YouTube. If you are a struggling alcoholic or an alcoholic in recovery, and if you ever need to listen to a different perspective from an alcoholic, please just go onto YouTube and type in AA speaker tapes, and there will be so many speakers that will come on. So in the beginning, I used to hear a lot about alcoholism as a progressive disease. We have a lot of slogans that I used to hear about. And I used to be like, what does that mean? So let's get some facts straight right now. Alcoholism is a progressive disease. Alcoholism is a disease. Alcoholism is a chronic disease. Alcoholism is a fatal disease. Alcoholism cannot be cured. Alcoholism can be managed though. So how am I living with this uncurable disease that can be managed but is progressive and is fatal? And what do I mean by all this jargon? I've been speaking to a lot of new people in the program, or people that are behind me in sobriety. And we've been talking a lot about how alcoholism is progressive. And I've been giving them my perspective on what I mean by alcoholism being a progressive disease. In my first year, and I'd say my first months, even my first days of recovery, my number one issue was the obvious: alcoholism, in the sense that alcohol was my problem. Alcohol was a huge problem in my first year, in my first months. And obviously it will continue to be a problem, but it was the biggest problem that I had. And it was so compulsive. It was so obsessive. It was something that consumed my thoughts, my mannerisms, my habits, to a point that obviously I needed a power greater than myself to help me get sober and to stay sober one day at a time. And that's why I consistently went and still go for meetings, because I could not shake the cravings for alcohol by myself. It was something that was beyond human aid. I was beyond human aid. Psychiatrists couldn't help me. My parents couldn't help me. The love that I have for them and they have for me couldn't stop me from picking up a drink. My reputation in society couldn't stop me. The shame and guilt and fear of the consequences that came with drinking couldn't stop me from picking up a drink, and so on and so forth. So I was completely beyond human aid. And my biggest focus was to overcome this. And by going through meetings, at 2 meetings, by putting myself squarely in the middle of AA and the fellowship, and being able to get a sponsor and start working the steps of AA, the cravings for alcohol were lifted from me. And I think that was at about 6 to 8 months of sobriety. And that was amazing for me, because I have always been a person that craves alcohol. The first thing that I think about when I would wake up would be to drink. The last thing that I would think about before either passing out or going to sleep would be, how am I going to get the next drink? And throughout the day, it would be, I need to drink, I need to drink, I need to drink. So that compulsivity, that attachment to alcohol was so intense. I needed spiritual intervention, or I needed a power definitely greater than myself, definitely greater than any human being that I know, to break it for me. And that's what this program did for me in the beginning. And the fight doesn't end there. So I experienced a pink cloud. And a pink cloud in essence is when sobriety is just amazing. You know, I had those mornings when I would wake up and I'm like, yes, I'm sober, I'm not sick, I'm not craving alcohol, I feel great. You know, I don't have a hangover. I remember what I did yesterday. I remember where I slept. I slept in my bed. You know, I have food to eat in the morning. I can actually eat breakfast. You know, I have things to do today and I can actually do them. If I have plans with people, if I have plans with my family, I can actually go and meet them. And I don't have to spray myself because I'm smelling of booze. I don't have to cancel plans because I am able to be there. So those initial days and months were amazing because it's like a newborn baby. It's being reborn in essence. And I wanted to do and experience everything. Go to restaurants, go shopping, go to movies, sober, and experience everything from a sober point of view because it was so much fun. It was like a huge weight had been lifted from me. I had been a prisoner to alcohol for so many years. And once that craving and the obsession for alcohol was taken from me, it's like I could finally breathe and I could finally be free. And in my first and second year, all I focused on was, I do not care what I do. The point is that I have to stay sober. And that was okay. My actions, my reactions, it did not matter what happened. As long as I stayed sober at the end of that day was a success to me. And that is still, in essence, what is true today. To me, a successful day as an alcoholic is, if I've gone out there, everything could have failed. But if I come back home and I lay my head in bed and I thank God for granting me sobriety for that day, and I go to sleep sober, that for me as an alcoholic is a successful day, no matter how crappy my day was. I didn't pick up a drink. That is a success. But the difference between then and now is the actions in between. In my first and second year, I could get away with being rude, being mean, having outbursts, having mood swings, doing all sorts of things, and not feeling bad about the repercussions. As long as I stayed sober that day, it didn't matter who I hurt, who I didn't hurt. It didn't matter about anybody's feelings. I didn't care. My only purpose was to stay sober. And why I say alcoholism is a progressive disease is because If we remove the alcohol from the picture, the ism, which is to me, as my experience has been, I find the ism is the sickness, the character sickness, the internal illness of an alcoholic. Because once you remove alcohol from an alcoholic, and this is just purely my experience as an alcoholic, I'm not a functioning, rational, adult human being. I really am not. I still have so many things to learn. I have to learn compassion. I have to learn how to do life. I don't even know what living life on life terms means. It's like whenever I do something in life, I expect a reward. And this is ingrained in my DNA as an alcoholic. I'm a very entitled human being. And I've had to learn through experience and through the progression of my illness as an alcoholic that life is really not like that. And so there have been character defects. My character defects have really come to the surface. So the entitlement. I've always been a moody person. Always. And yes, we've established that I do have bipolar disorder. But at the same time, I cannot use that as an excuse to treat people around me like crap. I can't use that as an excuse to have a bad day and take that out on everybody around me. In my first and second year of sobriety, and even my third year of sobriety, if I was in a bad mood and I treated everybody around me badly, that I didn't care about it. I'm just, my sole purpose was to be sober. And so I didn't care how I treated people. At the end of the day, I needed to stay sober. But now, 4 years and 8 months sober, I can't say that is my same reaction. I have become aware and I am more attuned to how I treat people. So if I'm having a bad day or if I'm having mood swings, I simply cannot take that out on the people around me and go back home and sleep peacefully at night and say that, yeah, I had a good day. I'm sober. No, that doesn't fly with me anymore. It upsets me. It bothers me. So I have to deal with these character defects at the core. And becoming aware of these character defects is something totally different. So I say the disease of alcoholism progresses into a place of your character defects can take you down as badly, just as badly, or even worse than alcohol did. My entitlement can take me down. My lust for prestige, for wanting to be seen, for wanting to be known, for wanting to be respected in society can really mess up my life and the people around me. Dishonesty and manipulation can completely mess up my life, just as badly as alcohol did. Whatever it is, these character defects in me, being ungrateful, because I have that character defect. I know that I'm ungrateful. I know that I can be extremely stubborn. I know that I am selfish. I know that I can be rude. or moody, and moody comes out as rude. And these are character defects that you put onto other people. They start rubbing on the people around you, and they affect the relationships that you have with people. They affect your jobs, your working relationships. Because now that I'm living in sobriety, I can't hide behind a mask anymore. I think that's the point that I'm trying to make. Alcoholism strips you bare, and it strips you to your point of vulnerability, and the real Wahiga really starts to come out. And at this point that I'm at, it's really hard for me to fake it. I have to be consistent in all levels of my life. If I am this Wahiga to my family, I have to be this Wahiga with my partner. I have to be this Wahiga with my sponsor. I have to be this Wahiga with my friends and my cousins and at my workplace. In active alcoholism, it was easy to just pick a face and go with the flow. But now that I'm sober, I cannot afford to fake it anymore. And so all the ailments, all the defects of character that I had before I even started drinking have always been there. And now I stopped drinking. And guess what? They're back. And they're magnified. And all of these character defects are just as powerful as alcohol, in the sense that they can take me out, or they can lead me back to a drink that quickly. And because for a person like me as an alcoholic, to drink is to die, I cannot be okay because I'm in a mood, or I'm being moody today, treating my parents or my partner or whoever's around me badly, and then just living my life and saying, yeah, I'm happy, I'm sober, I'm free. That's me being dishonest and being disingenuous. So the issues that I dealt with in my first year being directly alcohol is not the issues that I'm dealing with today at 4 years and 8 months sober. In my first year, I dealt with alcohol, direct alcohol. In my second year, it was toxic relationships, especially with men. In my third year, it was depression. My mental illness completely consumed my life to a point that everything came to a crushing halt, and I had to surrender it to God. And this year, because I am in a relationship and I am getting closer with the people around me, so I'm in very close relations with people around me, I can't simply now hide out and run away whenever I'm in a bad place or a bad space. I actually have to learn how to be compassionate and be of service to people around me through whatever I'm going through. Definitely, my character defects are on full display. And the sad thing, or the interesting thing, is that I can't change my character defects. Just because I'm aware that I'm selfish, or I'm aware that I'm stubborn, or I am aware that I'm being manipulative in this situation, doesn't mean that I can change it. I don't have the power to change it, like I don't have the power to take away the cravings for alcohol. But what I can do with that awareness is reach a point of surrender with these character defects, because I know that they don't serve me anymore, and that they never have served me, and that I am done with this particular character defect. And I ask God to please take this character defect away from me, because it's not only hurting me, it's hurting the people around me. And I don't want to bring pain and suffering to the people around me. I've done that for too long. I want to bring positivity and light and energy and great things to the people around me. I don't want to bring them more pain, because we can be awful people sober. Trust me, an untreated alcoholic can be an awful, awful person if they haven't dealt with their issues in a spiritual way. So I have to reach a surrender in that regard, and ask the same God who took away this cravings of alcohol from me, who took away the obsession to drink from me, the one who's keeping me sober and has been giving me this gift of sobriety daily, to please take away this character defect of pride, of ego. Terrible. I have such a big ego, of stubbornness, of know-it-all, to remove those things from me, so that I can be a blessing and be of service to the people around me, instead of bringing them pain. And so that I can grow and really become the Wahiga I was really meant to be, without all these character defects. I hope that this helped somebody. Please, I would love to know your thoughts. I'd love to hear your shares. Comment down below. Thank you so much for watching the Mental Wellness channel with Higgs, aka Wahiga. Until next time, goodbye guys.